Welcome to another installment of r/Am I the A-hole? Today we have a story where OP gives a lap dance to her male friend. Before we get started, if you enjoy these Reddit stories, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. If you're new here, welcome. I make videos compiling Reddit stories from all sorts of different subreddits. As always, let me know which story you enjoyed the most and feel free to suggest a subreddit you think I should visit. Now let's move on to the first story of the day, which was posted by SpoiledKid9001. Am I the a-hole for giving my son a better life and spoiling him more than his siblings will ever get to be? A brief background. About 9.5 years ago, my wife cheated on me, got pregnant, and left me for him. Courts gave them custody of our son because single dad versus family. I've since gotten remarried and had a couple kids, 7 and 5.5. X and her new man also have 2 more kids. My wife and I both work as engineers and have dang good salaries, to put it lightly. My ex and her new husband, however, haven't ever done particularly well. Ex-wife didn't want me sending my son lavish gifts or taking him on family vacations, so his other siblings wouldn't get too jealous and build a resentment towards him. Her words. Meanwhile, he was understandably upset he wasn't getting as nice a life as my other kids were. As he got older, he asked to come live with me. I said yes, I'd love to have him, but ex-wife said no. Thank God the court sided with what my son wanted. Since moving in, everything's gone fairly smooth for us. My younger kids love having their big brother around all the time. He loves them and we still go on our family vacations every January. Though if I had known how bad Rona was gonna be back then, I probably would have held off this year. And for his 16th birthday, he got a nice used Buick he wanted. Since then, poops hit the fan with his mom/my ex-wife though. She's pissed how much he's getting and getting to do. She keeps texting and calling both of us about how his younger siblings will never be able to get all he has and it's not fair. And now her kids are upset and apparently I'm a horrible dad for forcing his siblings to resent him. I finally told her I don't care. I want my kids to have a good life. And if she wasn't an adulterer, hers would have a better life too. Did I go too far there? Alright, first of all OP, you're an engineer so I'm gonna assume you're really good at math and science. But I don't think English is your forte, because it was quite a struggle trying to read this story. As far as whether you're an a-hole or not, you're definitely not the a-hole. All you're doing is being a good father to your son and all the more power to you. Your ex-wife is just being jealous. Also, that last little line about her being an adulterer was icing on the cake. Our next story was posted by Flower Shop Blues. Am I the a-hole for cutting off my family over my mom's will? I always suspected my mom preferred my sister over me. Growing up, she spoiled my sister with whatever she wanted and took her word over mine whenever we argued. I was always second place compared to her. For example, when we turned 16, I was given my aunt's old clunker that ended up dying within 6 months. When my sister turned 16, she got a brand new red Volkswagen of her dreams. Mom said I couldn't continue my piano lessons because they were getting so expensive, while still supporting my sister's dance lessons, competitions, etc. Things got really bad about a decade ago. When we were in high school, I fell in love with this guy, Joey, and started dating him for a while. Only to have him dump me because he preferred my sister. Yes, my sister seduced him. This really broke me because he was my first love. Well, my sister and Joey ended up getting married after their college graduation, and that is when things went from bad to worse. Our mother had her will made and she was leaving everything to my sister. For background information, our childhood home was a 2-story building where my mother's flower shop was on the ground floor and the apartment we grew up in was the 2nd floor. While I didn't get along with my mom or sister, I loved that flower shop and had been working there most of my life. I dreamed of owning that shop one day. But instead, my mother was going to leave the building, the shop, and the apartment to my sister. While I could still work in the shop, my sister would be the owner and I would have to do what she says. There was no use in trying to convince her to change her mind. In her mind, my sister was the married one with a baby on the way. She needed the business and the house to raise her family. Meanwhile, I was single and had nothing. So I cut them off. If my mother didn't see me as a family member, then I wanted nothing to do with them anymore. It was clear who she favored more. So I moved out of my childhood home and was on my own. Less than a year later, I joined the Peace Corps and have been living abroad ever since. Now, to the present. After not hearing from them for years, my sister found me on social media and reached out to me. She wanted to talk to me and rekindle whatever relationship we had. I told her no, that I never wanted to talk to her or have anything to do with her or our mother again. She then starts to write this angry message about how I could do this to her and why I would turn my back on her. But as far as I'm concerned, she is not my family. She hasn't been my family in a decade. My partner and our baby is family. I have a new, happier, more fulfilling life in South Africa than I ever did back in the States. I don't want to ever see my old family again because of how they treated me. I don't want them to meet my daughter. If I let them back into my life, I'm afraid that they will ruin the new life I made for myself. Am I the a-hole and being too harsh? OP, you are definitely not the a-hole. Not only did your sister steal your boyfriend, but she also got married to him. If that's not a slap to the face, then I don't know what is. And your mother, on the other hand, showed such blatant favoritism, it's disgusting. My guess is her sister and mother never apologized for the things that they've done, and probably don't even realize that what they did was wrong. Maybe once they do apologize, OP can consider forgiving them, but until then, I suggest OP stay far away from them. Our last story was posted by Husband is Mad. Am I the a-hole for saying a lap dance doesn't count as cheating? Trust me, I know how this sounds, but just hear me out. When I, 30-year-old female, was in college, I worked at a co-ed strip club. The money was incredible and helped me pay off my student loans faster than minimum wage ever could, so I have no regrets about it. After I graduated, I got a good job at an accounting firm, and that's how I met my husband, 34-year-old male. We've been married for 3 years. My husband knows all about my old job, and some of my best friends are people I worked with there, who he also gets along with. One of these friends, let's call him Henry, 29-year-old male, is probably my closest friend besides my high school BFF. He moved into our guest room about 4 months ago because his boyfriend kicked him out of the house, and we agreed to let him stay and save up for his own place. For obvious reasons, he's been laid off from his job and has been doing online side projects, but he still pays rent and cooks, so I'm fine with him. My husband was also fine with him until last weekend. My husband decided to go out back and get some much needed yard work done, while Henry and I hung out in the basement playing pool and drinking wine. We started getting pretty tipsy, so we put on some of our favorite songs from our old work and started reminiscing old times. We were both getting back into our groove, laughing and dancing, and that's when I thought it would be fun to give Henry a lap dance to see if I still got it. Apparently, my husband went to knock on the basement window to tell us to turn down the music and saw the lap dance, and he went completely berserk. I mean, really, OP, can you blame him? He tried to kick Henry out, but I told him both our names are on the house and I get a say too. He told me he's never felt so betrayed in our whole relationship, and now he'll barely speak to me. He's been locking himself in our office with an air mattress and the dog 24/7 since, only coming out for food, the bathroom, or walks. I keep telling him that he's being ridiculous because Henry swings the other way for crying out loud, but he says he won't stop until Henry leaves, and there's something wrong with me if I can't understand why he's angry. I was pretty confident I was in the right, but he's still fuming, so now I'm second guessing myself. Am I the a-hole here? OP, the fact that you need to ask that question probably means you're the a-hole, but let me put this to you in ways you could probably understand. What if your husband has a really good friend who happens to be a lesbian and an ex-stripper, and started giving him a lap dance? Or vice versa. I'm pretty sure you're the one who would be kicking both of them out of the house. Also, the fact that you were calling him ridiculous was just throwing oil to the flames. Never in the history of being angry has anyone ever calmed down after being told that they were ridiculous, being crazy, or that they needed to calm down. And he probably felt even more betrayed when you did not let him kick your friend out of the house. All in all, I'm giving you a 9 out of 10 on the a-hole scale. That concludes this episode of r/Am I the a-hole? If you enjoyed, please like, comment, and subscribe, as this all really helps my channel grow and pushes me to create more videos. Also, I'll be posting videos every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday, so make sure you turn on notifications to be notified for my next video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.